Hello, folks. Welcome to Twitch. How you doing, folks? Let me just. There we go. Yeah. Welcome to Twitch. Thank you for bearing with us while we sorted out Graham's missing face, but we found it. So all is good.
And it is beautiful.
Turns out Nicolas Cage had it.
I was chasing John Travolta the whole time, and I was just dead wrong.
Tiramisu. Yeah, that's my quote. Anyway, instead of strange, what sort of film is that? It's like an action adventure.
What, Face Off?
It's its own genre.
I mean, yeah, it's got Nicolas Cage crazy action.
Nicolas Cage crazy action genre. Okay.
It has to be like.
Yeah.
Isn't Nicolas Cage like a genre of his own now?
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
so. He's reached that level where he can play Nicolas Cage.
He is in a film where he plays Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, him and
it's
John
fantastic.
Malkovich are at that level of So, all right. Instead of how are you, this is what I'm gonna. Who would play Silsilla in the movie version?
I don't say Nicolas Cage at this.
Okay, Nicolas Cage. Sure.
Maybe a slightly wacky Keanu Reeves.
Slightly like young Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of level of irresponsibility, and he can just like grow some hair and versions of Silsilla.
Fair. And are you well, Graham?
You know what? Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I can finally talk again, which is great.
Yeah, there's been a nasty cold in the GM household. Ben, who would play
Hello.
Shanaz in the film that we are casting?
Crikey. It's a tricky one. At the minute, probably Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
She might be a bit tall for.
I was thinking either Monica Bellucci or
Good shout. Yeah.
Monica Baccarin. That's not quite right.
Yeah, Morena Baccarin.
Yeah.
I mean, she is. So, to be fair, Shanaz is partly based on Morena Baccarin, so it wouldn't be a stretch for her to play.
No. Okay, nice. And are you well, friendo?
I am. Well.
I was waiting for the end of the sentence. It's like, we're resting on this. All right, so Pete, you've had the longest to think, which means this is going to be the one where who would play Yusuf?
It's a young Kurt Russell.
Yeah. What a good film here.
I have no idea. Probably the guy who plays Spud from Trainspotting. I don't know, like he's just some gangly lad kind of guy who's slowly becoming a man. So I don't know that kind of.
Oh, The Rock then.
I think Brendan.
Oh yeah, that's the one. The Rock. Yeah, The Rock.
Brendan Fraser's got that kind of injury thing going on.
Yeah. He's a bit too manly, I think. For he's quite tall and
but
broad.
pretty young.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
I'm having can't put the name of the character.
Maybe the guy who did Elvis recently and is going to be in June. What's his name? Austin. What's his name?
Austin Butler something.
Yeah. He'll do.
Okay.
Check us with our up-to-date cultural touchstones.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm not sure Austin Butler something counts, but yeah. I mean, people know him.
Austin Butler, that's his name. Yeah.
Is it? I thought he had a
Yep.
double barrel name.
Yep. No, it's Austin Butler.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
and
just kind of like
just sort of like growing up in space, working out there's politics going on all around
Yeah.
you. Oh
And we
man,
could replace you with like Morgan Freeman as
a narrator.
Mhm.
But not everything was good at Caladorina.
it was a long time till they came.
Pete, are you well?
Not bad.
I am. I played D&D earlier on.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Like
I like
today
two
earlier
lots of
on.
role playing in one day.
How's this?
Like and face to face with work
Yes.
colleagues.
We did face-to-face D&D on Friday night. It's pretty fabulous.
It was good fun. It was
Yep.
no, it was 80% face to face,
True, one guy
and
can switch.
20% a screen at the end of the table, because somebody was not in the UK.
Yeah, we had the same. So we had someone on Teams from home, and then the rest were in the room. And they're all new to role playing and D&D, but they are very enthusiastic. And it'd been a while, so we had to remember everyone's names and stuff and all that kind of stuff. The barbarian was called Thor, but we forgot, and we nearly just called him Rage. I was like, "Is his name Rage?" He's like, "Yeah, that'll do." I was like, "Oh no, it's Thor." He's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh,
Does it
nice.
count as today if you've slept since you played?
No,
No.
not on your
No.
weird clock.
Okay.
So
I
how
did
many
play
games
it.
have you run then in the last 24 hours?
0. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. My Cyberpunk game ended and has been replaced with a Fallout game. And
Nice.
my Coriolis game, there was a scheduling snafu, so that didn't happen yesterday. I played Blades in the Dark last night,
Oh,
which
Ooh.
everybody should play because it's a very, very good game.
Mm.
And I've got some Scum and Villainy coming up later.
Scum and villainy.
But just so that I'm quiet, so I can. Is this better? Or is this better? Or
oh,
is it no difference whatsoever? It doesn't
that was a
really
little
matter?
clearer.
Huge
That
difference.
one was a
Second
little
one was clearer.
crisper.
How about now?
That's good.
All right.
Okay, I've turned the mic round, is all I've done. Magic of sound engineering.
The magic. Who'd have thunk?
Mhm.
There is no magic in Coriolis. Of course not. There is. I was trying to make a segue there, but failed. Radio training just went out the window.
It's okay. We'll have to get free stuff.
Yeah. So when last we met our heroes, we were suiting up, dressing up to go to visit a portal station and find out what the diggity is going on.
Mm.
Yes.
And hopefully get as much stuff for free as we can.
Okay, yeah.
Don't forget the coffee pods.
Coffee pods and things. But yeah, we're gonna, because we skipped the blockade, went left instead of right, teamed up with Silsila's passing acquaintance of Yoon's and his crew, and are going off to save a diplomat that Yusuf saw by mind walking clairvoyantly into a nomad's
Into Nomad.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Near a moon.
Near a moon. Another jump away.
Yeah.
Another portal
Yes.
jump away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I went and had a lie down.
Yes.
Just muttering that's no moon.
So Shanaz was getting all Avasarala'd up, which is
Yep.
not a British euphemism for taking shots. She was power dressing, shoulder pads, statement jewelry, authority figure kind of thing. We were taking a couple of Yoon's crew because they're better at
Looking like bodyguards.
VIP bodyguarding,
And also being bodyguards.
also being bodyguards, because that's sort of what their detail is.
Hey, we're handy.
Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
handy. But, as bodyguards,
And then we were gonna dock with the portal station and see what the diggity was.
Yeah.
Okay. So we maneuver, we dock. There is like a cycle, decontamination, whatever that kind of stuff goes on. And the portal stations are just like small operations. Like there's a bunch of folks and as much ramen as can last them till their next supply drop kind of situation. This station like cycles, pressure is equalized and so on and so forth, and then the doors kind of pop. And you'd expect maybe in some places to get like a greeting or something, like, somebody be there. What you do here is as the door sort of slides open and you see this side of dimly lit sort of corridor up ahead, is eventually you hear someone like, "Mum, away!" Clang, 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 like running. So like, I'm nearly there. Just hang on. As they charge through the portal station. And eventually, like this middle-aged guy in a jumpsuit with, I think it's run by the Colonials, the Colonial Agency or something similar.
We do get everywhere.
Or like it's got a Colonial Agency patch, but then it's also got like something or other navigation or astrometrics, or that sort of maths company, like a subsidiary. They're running the franchise on behalf of the Colonial Agency. So while they're probably not colonial agency folks, they're under license for it. That kind of thing. And he like doesn't look like he's had a proper shower in a little while. Bit of a scruffy sort of beard. And he rocks up. He's like, well, hey, welcome to the portal station here. We don't get folks who want to dock very, very often.
That's abundantly clear.
Normally people are just like heading through. We don't have a med. Well, we do have a med center, but we don't have like a doctor. It's just sort of like
We were invited here. We have information to exchange. A meal was offered. I'm beginning to doubt whether or not that meal is going to be safe to eat.
We didn't expect. I need to go and talk. And
Take me to your supervisor now.
He turns around. He's like, "Oh yeah." And they head up to through the corridors. It gets to the end of the corridor, and there's like a ladder to climb to get up to the next level.
Where is the elevator?
Well, we don't always have grav on, so we don't have one.
You don't have an elevator on your station. Very well. A ladder it can be.
Do you want us to? And he goes over to the like a comms unit on the wall. He's like, "Do you want grav off?"
No need. I'm sure I'll manage.
And all right, yeah, we'll go first.
Yes, you will.
And the colonial agent guys, they're all like sort of looking and putting their hands kind of down and okay, like this is not a normal sort of protocol, ma'am. One of us typically has to be last up the ladder.
There's only one of you here. How can you be both first and last up the ladder?
Oh, I thought we were taking a couple of them.
Oh, no, my security team. No, they're fine. They can come up the ladder behind me.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. Just not letting this geezer come up the stairs, up the ladder behind me. He's going first.
Oh, Stefan still here. Did we come along as well? I think we did. Just suddenly I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I assumed you did. You
Okay.
don't have to have.
No, cool.
I thought you were leaving Yoons, Adia, and Kirsch alone on the ship.
We did, yeah, because we asked about their access.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, because Adia was given like user profiles and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
They were asking Yusuf what should be done.
Yeah.
Cool. So this guy heads up the ladder, followed by almost everybody except Shanaz and the final bodyguard. He's like, I can assure you, I'm going to be looking to make
Don't
sure
worry,
no
it's
one
fine.
comes behind us. Do you want me to carry your shoes?
I'll take those.
No, you bloody won't.
I've washed my hands.
Yeah, I know, but you'll have them on Space eBay by
Last
the time we
week.
get to the top of the ladder.
I haven't drunk out of them yet, so you wait for that.
That's
It's fine.
stalker.
I suspect I'll manage somehow. That they do teach us to handle these kinds of situations.
Oh my goodness! In Courtesan College, there's a whole session on climbing up ladders in inappropriate footwear.
Yep. But they probably like, ladies, everybody in your absolute finest to the main ballroom. When you get there, there's a climbing wall.
In a sub course. Those who pass really well go to Alarm's Temple. For some reason, I can't work out why. All right, so we climb up this ladder. It's a bit cramped, very reminiscent of like climbing through the insides of the Nostromo or something. Like it's one of those sort of movements. And eventually we come out in probably something that would be like a very sort of prefabbed, bolted together style galley. They don't have a space Tassimo, but they do have a space machine, a coffee machine, space machine, and that kind of stuff.
I'll be lingering near it and like looking at it occasionally to
Like,
like
trying
see
to
if
work
they
out how
no
they
to see if they offer us one.
and they're like there's like drip coffee or something going on. It doesn't look like the best kind of coffee. It's definitely not espresso.
I've become a snob in a really short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
A coffee snob.
And this like shitty looking galley with like the sort of vinyl style chairs and a circular table. There's like a pile of like reheat packets sort of at the end of one of the tables, that kind of stuff. And down another ladder.
They're the good ones.
Scylla might recognize them. The bodyguards, the guys definitely. These are like standard kind of box meals,
Matey type things.
Yeah, the sort of stuff that on license to the colonial agency, I don't know, Musaa Corp makes or something. That kind of stuff. Horrible.
They get everywhere.
Horrible sort of stuff. As you're sort of coming in, you sort of like trying to work out what style of coffee it is. Shanaz is just like gracefully ascending, the other bodyguard like offering a hand to help you out of the ladder kind of thing. Somebody else on the other side of the room comes down, followed by 2 or 3 others. One of them is much older, slightly graying. I just knocked my mixing desk over.
Oh,
It's one of those days, folks. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
Still
good.
hear me?
Yep.
Oh, it worked. Right. Put all these things over here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play on there.
What a day. What a day.
The magic of production.
All right. So, where is he? I've gone too far. So this older looking dude, he's going a bit grey. Little bit sort of chunky. Definitely much more comfortable in this place than the other folk who are here. He greets you, the crew, especially Shanaz, and he looks and he's like, so thank you for coming. I know it's probably not the sort of place you folks are used to, but
It has been a while since I've stopped on a portal station. That much is very true.
well,
You're a bit smaller than Hammurabi, aren't you?
much, yeah. We don't get many stop sort of overs. We're a big sort of transit location. Mostly just see through folks through on their pilgrimage and stuff. Like if they're moving on.
That's one of the things we wanted to discuss with you, but perhaps we could take a seat.
Yeah. Please. And he looks around and he's like, he issues like some like these teenagers, 20-something guys who are just like it's sort of like this the same sort of vibe as like the Canterbury. Like there are people who are just doing it because it pays a lot of money to be out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody wants to do this job. You don't really get time off, and you just have to be reasonably good at maths. to do it.
Yeah, it's
and
my
then-
idea of hell. Sit in the arse end of nowhere and do maths.
Mhm.
I don't think I'd mind it. Like, do it for 6 months and then go and have fun for 6 months. Sounds pretty good.
Which is exactly what like the majority of the crew, except for this chap, are doing. And he issues like jobs to them. Like he's like, you go and do this. You just run the computations for this again. You were out on the last one by 7%, which would have put somebody in a sun. So I want to see the maths for this again. That kind of stuff. Go and practice. You finish your training on that. You go and clean that, and and eventually, like after a short while, these kids sort of filter off, head out, and start to give you a reasonable amount of peace. Like, he leans forward and he's like, "Please come sit down. The coffee is wet. The food is the appropriate temperature. And
It seems like you could probably do with a few little luxuries. I'll have to see if we have anything tucked away on the ship that might raise spirits.
I mean, we're not sad. Just we don't get many folks coming through, and I don't want to cause alarm or upset, but there are folks who folks who have said some things recently that make me wonder about whether things are pure. And then I saw you on the Cyclade on the bulletin. We got that thing come through, and
Yes.
you're big people. You were there when there was the portal collapse.
Yes.
And he leans forward a bit more, like looking towards the ladders and the places where the rest of the crew have assistants. He goes, "I've heard, like, some of the rumors is you saw a ship that looked like a butterfly?"
That is a rumor that has been said as well. Yes, that's something we've heard too. Why do you think you've seen something similar?
And he's gets up and he goes over to like a storage thing that's got like the GED written on it. And he pulls it out. He pulls this tabular out. Yusuf would immediately see it's probably flashing, like the light that's like you're not connected to the Wi-Fi or something. Like,
Yeah.
it would like immediately be something Yusuf who is
Mhm.
that sort of closes it. There's all kinds of other personal junk in there as well. He pulls it out and he comes and sits down, and he's like, I want you to tell me like what this looks like to you. And portals operate around a sun. Like they are this strange kind of opening around. Like nobody knows exactly how they operate. But the Foundation is doing research and that kind of stuff. They're from the Portal Wars. Portal builders are still a slight kind of mystery. But he sits down. He's got this tabula, this non-connected to the network tabula. He pulls up this picture, and you can see it's a transit of a caravan. Like there's a whole bunch of different ships. Like it's a merchant. Like there's some big ones, there's some little runners, that kind of stuff. Lots of folks coming through. And from the direction of the ships, it looks like they're coming out of the portal into the local space kind of thing. And he zooms in on a bit. Like, that in the film where Morgan Freeman narrates, zooms in on this posh, and it's just like the tiniest kind of portion of maybe a portal, like a ship you saw in the hangar, but it's like the corner of it, like not a full ship. And he's like, I was trying to get a good picture, like the sensors picked up some bits and pieces, but I've seen this. And then so he flicks it closed and zooms into another one, and opens it out. And again, there's like a big freighter going through the ship, like a private sort of transit. And you can see he zooms into another top corner, and there's another bit of one. Not the whole ship, but you can see a portion of it, and it looks like it's transiting with the freighter. He flicks to another one. He's like, and then
is it just a freighter, or is there lots of ships? But he zooms in near the freighter.
No, so the first one
No, the
was a
second one was a
caravan.
big freighter. The first one was a caravan.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first one was a caravan, like a multiple
Yeah, yeah.
transit. Second one was
But the second one is just a big freighter.
Just a big
Right,
freighter, like
okay.
a solo transit.
Sure.
And then he's got like 5 or 6 of them. Majority of them are solo transits, but there are like 2 caravans kind of. And he's like, I'm no sort of data djinn, but I tried to piece it together from these things, and he like his last picture in this slideshow is, it's not quite the way from the ship that you saw, but he's trying.
Baby's first Photoshop.
Yeah, baby's first Photoshop, and he's trying to put things together in a way that like matches a butterfly ship, in the sense that he understands it, that he thinks
Yeah.
it would be. He's like, is this what you saw? Is it true?
I'm assuming that it probably is, isn't it?
It does look like, you could probably potentially like drag bits around and make it a better jigsaw, and the angles are off because of the snapshots he's got.
Composite kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know if any of our characters have an artistic kind of leaning, but you could, quite easily put on another layer there and start sort of drawing out a reasonable kind of ship.
It does look like one
I'm
of
not
them.
sure if I've actually seen the butterfly, have I? The butterfly ship.
Did you?
Inside the
Yeah, it was inside.
ice ship we get the thing from.
Wasn't I
No,
wasn't I unconscious?
no, you were there.
I think I missed the session.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yusuf
yeah,
was
that's
there,
a good
but I
point.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Yusuf's seen it, Pete hasn't.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, because
That's right. That's a while ago now.
Yeah, it was just before me and Jafar had to fight the Avatar, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
On the Zafira.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
I see why you've kept that off the network. That was a very intelligent life choice.
He leans forward. He's like, not all of these. Like, I'm not the only one. Like, we've been talking to some of the other portals. They've all, most of us. And he looks around. He's like, not those who've been here for, a while. And some folks were saying it's the syndicate.
It's not.
Like, how does
It's
the
not the
syndicate?
syndicate.
How do those families get ships like this? If that, are they working
Yeah.
with?
Okay, let me stop you there.
Who is it? And
Yeah.
you can see he's like,
Let me stop you there. You are on very, very dangerous ground. Now, we are here on a mission, a journey.
and he starts
And we
to
have-
like
no.
lean back in a, oh shit, and he looks
We
at
have-
the VIP, the bodyguards.
Important things to attend to. You are very lucky that the people you've chosen to share this with is us and not certain other folks who sit on the other side of the portal. However, before we go any further, we need to know some information from you. So I need you to tell us everything you know about the portal being shut. Nobody else can make it through from the other side. The Pariah have shut the portal access. Nobody's coming through.
No, nobody's coming through. Like, they've put a blockade in. Like, we've when the we've sent some.
Has anybody gone through from this side?
Yeah, people are going through fine. They're just not coming back. Like, I don't mean like failed transits lost in portal space.
No, I understand
I
what you mean.
You can leave.
But there's no coming back. They've
but-
blocked off a section
Of
space. They're trying to protect
Zelos.
Zelos, or so they claim. But in so doing, they've branched out and covered too much other ground. They're preventing people from getting to Mira without going the long way round, which comes with its own difficulties as well. And they're trying to prevent anybody from coming here as well. I take it from the ships you've got outside
Oh,
that's
yeah.
people who have made it this far and no further.
No, we have a colonial guard. Like, well, we don't have a colonial guard. We were given a budget to get some mercenaries from the local system to be a guard in case the pariah came through this way. Also, there's a lot more what are the corsairs around. Like controlling us would be a lot of money for a corsair, because then they could like hike up fees, not that kind of stuff. Decide.
Well, we also need to know about going on from here through the portal to the next destination. There is someone we've been sent to find, and we believe that this person passed through here on a very important mission.
Okay.
We need to get to them and do what we can to extract them.
You want me?
Have you had any diplomatic ships pass through in the last 3 weeks?
Well, not officially. We did have a solo transit, like a small ship solo transit, not a big. Solo transits are not. They're expensive. And they just transacted the bear. Like, it wasn't from an account, like, they just were like.
Got any scans?
Well, we've got transition footage,
Visual,
and
yeah.
I don't think the ident was legit. And he's like, I haven't had a chance to wait here. And he says, like, does that kind of, excuse me, let me out the booth kind of uncomfortable movement. One of the bodyguard guys sort of looks at him and then moves. And he heads up the ladder, leaving the tabular.
Yes, get a copy of that
on the table.
I'm going to take the tabular,
Mhm.
and when he comes back, I'm going to use my power stop to make him forget to take it back.
Oh, cool. Gonna make him forget that he should. Nice.
Mhm. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Be interesting if that goes wrong.
Yeah, we're basically like paddling down a creek otherwise, because we have to like just slowly go out without the portal.
So he's gone for maybe 10
so,
minutes.
So have we got anything on the ship we can give these guys to make their lives a little bit less miserable? News, updates. I know we do a data burst download as soon as we transit, but have we got a decent bottle of Cahol or anything in storage?
I mean, we have those Shah games that we robbed. Acquired.
Shah.
That might be okay. I mean, we don't tend to like really. I mean, we don't have a luxury ship either, do we? To be fair.
No.
And we do have a coffee machine, but
We've got those knockoff DVDs of Stars of Debaran.
We got all the merch.
Got a lot of Shanaz merch.
We have got quite a lot of that. Probably not going to help us get the message across right now, though.
No. You can give them some of the food stores, right? Give them something nice. We've got a bottle of something
fresh, bottle of whatever we've got handy.
Yeah.
I think there might be a block of opor in my room.
Now you're telling me.
You never asked.
So as you're sort of debating this and that kind of stuff, Ged comes back. He comes back downstairs. Comes and he's got another tabula, but this time it's like, it's like chunky and drop proof. You know, the sort of like idiots,
ruggedized.
Yeah, my first tabula style kind of thing.
Like an etch a sketch.
Yeah, like a chunky, like
yeah.
This is going to be used by 50 different people across the year. We've got to keep this sort of
bright primary coloured foam around the exterior.
Yeah, chunky
stickers on it.
Yeah, and there's probably like run calculations twice before sending, like etched into the foam or something. You know, like corporate kind of things all over it. And a colonial sticker on the back for whatever agency is, whatever license is happening here. And he sits down, and he sits. Well, he doesn't sit down. He looks at the bodyguard like sheepishly, and the bodyguard purposely makes him wait, and then gets up and lets him sit down, kind of thing. There's definitely a little bit of psyops going on with them guys. And Ged sort of shuffles up to Shanaz, then feels uncomfortable and shuffles back a bit, like, oh my gosh, I've just got too close to, and I haven't showered for months. And he's got this tabula, and he's showing you, it is, it's basically like a personal, like, yacht is essentially the, like, it's not the sort of, it's like bigger than the Kudapatilla, but in terms of like, it's got, it's probably got its own chapel as well, and like a meeting room and that kind of stuff. Whereas you've got like a chapel and med pod and some rooms. This looks a luxury vessel,
This is a very important people going and doing very important things kind of ship, isn't it?
Yeah, or rich people just on a jolly kind of thing.
Does it have enough room for a security detail?
I mean, it's definitely like, it's probably
bigger
got,
than ours,
it's
isn't
bigger
it?
than the Kudapatilla, which you have, what, 20
Yeah, that's true.
stasis hug booths. So they
Built for two.
Built for two. So they've probably got more than that kind of situation. It's also got like an impressive comms array. Kind of, it could probably do more. Like, I think your ship is like local, like in terms of like, you could go from a planet to a moon, but not planets to planets kind of thing. This one could probably get most of a system in. And it shows the transit, like it just goes by itself. You can see like there's a data stream across the bottom that runs a lot of like, data on energy output from the portal, positioning of different things, and you watch as like it's tracking mass or something, as it like essentially disappears into the portal, and there's nothing left in its sort of space. The name of the ship is like, I don't have the name for the ship, but it's something along the lines of like the most common kind of like the USS ship, Boaty McBoatface. It's like so obviously a fake that people are like, I'm not even going to bother, because you really don't want to, you're not going to the effort.
Gone fishing.
Yeah, gone fishing. Like, it's like one of them. You clearly don't want to tell us your name, and you've just paid an exorbitant fee to not have to tell us all these details. And the plan is just to Sadal. That's the route. Sadal's system.
Yeah.
And it makes this solo transit. Like, and that was like 2 and a bit weeks ago.
Okay, so we need drive signatures. Not that we're going to find anything, but okay, that's good. That's useful information. Thank you. I'm glad you shared that with us. All right, what you need to know then?
I don't have more information. I wish I did, but they paid a lot to use the portal.
Yes, they would.
They like, and I it's odd, right? Normally we have to bill the companies that come through, and we have to keep a record, and they paid.
Yep.
They just paid.
Upfront.
That doesn't happen.
Full amount?
Everything, yeah. Not even like we will pay on our, say, for 50 now, 50, like everything. Before the portal was activated.
Understood. Okay, here's what you need to be aware of then. Trouble is brewing across the horizon.
And he's like, okay.
The pariah are not helping matters. These ships that you've seen,
putting it lightly,
forget that you've seen them.
And is that where Yusuf makes him?
Yep. Stop.
Right. Give us a quick Mystic Powers roll.
Let's see that. One success.
Yeah. You see him like the ships, and then he whatever thought of recalling the pad stopped before it finishes in his brain. And he continues
Keep
to
your head down, do your job, stay out of trouble. We're going to need full computational for a journey through to Sadal, run to the best of your ability as soon as you can manage it.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a lot of template calculations. We just need the variables and things. I'll contact
And
you.
then we'll need you to scrub it from your system. So as it never happened.
Legally, like the treaties between systems.
Yes,
with
I know.
Coriolis
I understand this
and
puts you in a
Colonial.
difficult position. This is, however, for the Coriolis Council.
I'll lean slightly past Inaz and just sort of like make my uniform stand out so you can see the Colonial Agency on it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say
Rather than
anything.
scrubbing anything, because that's illegal, right? Maybe the sensors are turned off.
Maintenance.
I mean,
Diagnostic cycle.
Power loop.
well, we do have to. And he's straining for something. Like, we do have to.
You don't though, do you? You don't actually have to do those things. Convention dictates that all of those things are done. This is not a time to dwell on convention. This is a time of change, a time of great danger. And the fewer people that can follow our path, the greater the chance of you being able to play a pivotal role in the very survival of the Coriolis Council. And I am going to manipulate the ever-loving shit out of him.
Okay. Like, this is... Yeah.
Not that she needs it, but does she not get a bonus dice for me trying to go...
I mean, yeah, sure.
Because they technically work for us. And I don't really have a recognizable rank, just a lot of flight shit.
Flight shit.
Just wings everywhere.
Yeah. There's kind of pointy things, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wings and chevrons, that's it, yeah. The occasional blue square for no reason.
Yeah. Not the strepsils on there.
Right. While Ben is doing computational trigonomics to work out the volume of dice to roll, would they be able to provide us with a jump for another system? Because what I'm hoping, if the answer is yes, then we can ask them to get us one, like when we come back, jump back into wherever it was.
Zalos.
We're
in Arai now, and we're going to jump to Sadal.
Yeah, the place where we came from. Can they provide jump coordinates?
We want to go back to...
Yeah, because I'm hoping that if we go back, we're going to pop in, immediately jump out before anyone, because otherwise we've got to pop in and hang around for 4 hours.
Yeah, we kind of need jump coordinates run all the way through to Mira, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping they'd be able to. I don't, like, Silsilla would know if they can do that, but Graham doesn't.
I mean, the thing, they don't like doing that because it's based, and I know space is fairly predictable and that kind of stuff, but it's based essentially, like, they're going to say no because of space weather. Like, the position of a planet and a moon, or a freight, they have to calculate all this kind of stuff to sling you through portal space.
Gravimetric.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
From a neutron star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could give you that. They could give you, but they would be like, there is a risk you could just...
That's okay.
Just, it could go wrong.
It's a lower risk than 4 hours with the prior chase.
That is very true.
And like backup plan number 3. So, and if nothing else, we can just use the first one. Get out of the blockade.
Well, yeah. Well, we can run and some practice calculations as if we were on other portals. I guess it's if you're gonna
call it training, call it whatever you need to call it.
Okay. Yeah.
And we will see to it that the Colonial Agency is made aware of your help and support in this matter.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Do you have a station that you're particularly interested in?
Oh, well, no, this
Perhaps somewhere you'd like to retire to once this is all done?
no, I like I have a little farm on a moon not far from here. It's just where we're gonna settle down. Like we took this contract to make a lot of money and then retire. I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere.
We will see to it that
Um,
you are able to expedite your plans.
but you folks survived the portal explosion. Like you saved
Correct.
people.
We do.
If that were to happen again, they don't give us much information about what happened there. The portal station. Did they? How do I not? Like these things are coming through. What if they make it happen again?
Like, out of character, the trigger for that was really the ship rather than the portal, if I remember.
There is literally.
Is he talking about the Ghazali?
No, he's
No.
talking about. So remember when we came back from the Zafira
Yes.
and the portal exploded
Yes.
with the rumor of the butterfly ship coming through?
Yes.
He's saying out here they've got no information on what actually happened there. He's just seen you folks at a big party at the end of the Cyclade with all the cool folks being championed as heroes. He's given you this secret information. Now tell him how to survive if that portal explodes, please.
I think we owe him that, to be fair.
Tell us the truth. How do I did the portal survive? Give him the truth of the situation so he
What do we
can-
know? We know that everything except the portal survived. This portal station was unharmed.
No,
It's all fucked, wasn't it?
No?
everything, like if you folks hadn't gone through the portal when you did,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
everyone there
So-
was
What we should tell him is that if that starts to happen, leave via the other portal because there's nothing to come back to.
Yeah.
So they should get whatever.
Set yourself up a warning. Have a ship ready to rabbit, because the second that starts, you will not have long to make it through the portal to the other side.
and he's
On a
like
constant set of calculations, updating regularly.
what? The whole system?
Yeah, there won't be anything then. Like,
We survive by the grace of the icons
And he sits back, like he does
and
that
the skill of Captain Silsilla.
a wink.
like you wink, but he's like white faced, like they and he flicks like through some stuff on his this tabula, the robust one, to like a company briefing kind of thing, and it's like, in light of the recent events at these are the measures you should put in place. And as you sort of scan them over, they look, the sort of things like everybody should wear their shoes, and you should make sure you run computations twice, and that kind of stuff. And
When I lived in the Middle East, we got a message from the British Embassy when the first Gulf War kicked off, and when it went from being Operation Desert Shield to being Operation Desert Storm, and everything got real and missiles were being fired at where we were living, we got a message from the British Embassy telling us what to do in case of emergency. And it was basically, keep your heads down. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from what the companies would send these people.
Main step, especially the one.
step up a little. Yeah. So
Stock up on tea.
this briefing, this sort of like, in light of the things, we hear that everybody's nervous. You should keep your shoes on. You should put all your explosive things on the opposite side of the station to the sun. Like things
Really
that,
helpful things.
things that will give panicking people something to do. But when you're like after the event and you
Duck and cover.
yeah, kind of thing.
If nobody minds, Silsilla will tell him, not like the whole story, like the folded chips and things like that, but how it felt, like realize what was happening, and just smash the afterburners through the portal as fast as I can. And just like the glimpses of like how bad it was, just to say like we're not kidding around. I'm not even sure it was the butterfly ship. It all happened so fast, and there was lots of other stuff going on as well. But if that does happen, leave immediately.
He like a little bit of color returns, but he is like, okay, that's not what people are being told. It's just down as an unstable location, and we should route alternate.
It's unstable because everything is on fire.
Yeah,
And he's
I'm not
like-
a scientist, so I can't tell you why it happened, but that was what it felt like.
And he's like,
I wasn't even, they were talking about skill, but I would jumped in that stasis pod wondering if it's the last thing I'd see. That's how close it was for us. We had no warning though. We literally just we had to figure out what's going on. There's like the prior were there, they all got ruined. And you will have warning though. You will have enough time to see actually what the fuck is going on with that portal. Well, hang on, I know what this is, and we're leaving. You've got 2 portals. Go by the other one. Even if you go into the pariah thing and sit there for 6 weeks, you'll be there. You'll be alive.
and he nods quietly. He goes back through to some of the portal transits like he's had on the robust, because he's completely forgotten about the one that Yusuf has potentially just put in your bag or something, just like out of sight, out of mind.
I just think you're wearing it like a necklace.
No, it's tucked into one of the nicely sized pockets on my, my fairly ship's kind of coveralls type thing with good sized pockets for tools and things.
Mhm.
It's just slipped into one of those.
Slipped into one of them. And he's like, well, thank you, I think.
Mhm.
And he shakes his head. He's like, I'm sure there was something I was gonna show you.
Time is of the essence, Commander.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But
And that was 6 successes on my manipulation roll.
yeah. Wow. Okay. Double critical success. Yeah, we can like your crew say, we could run some tests that might need the coding software to reboot and just as your transit hits, and we could not record that you've been here in the data.
And we are sorry to leave you with this burden, Commander. This knowledge is a terrible thing. Knowing that you must keep it from others, equally terrible.
And he's like, so I can't tell others how? Should I not tell?
I would not recommend it.
You'll tell it to the wrong person, right? And the next group who come through might be wearing suits and holding guns, that you can't see. And you'll be like, hey, some stuff's going down. And then
We sent a comms boy to hate saying this name, DZI Ziban.
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 We sent a portal.
It's kind of a silent D,
Yeah, Ziban.
like in pterodactyl.
Oh, okay, yeah. We sent a comms boy to have an update with the folks running the Ziban portal. They were talking about some strange fluctuations in theirs. Some odd.
I would keep the chat to a minimum. If
Where
the
is-
pariahs are out doing stuff, they'll grab people in another station and say they've been talking to you, and then they'll come over here and grab your station.
Where is
So-
Ziban now?
So Sadal, where you're going to go and save the diplomat, is left from this portal. Ziban is right.
Galactic right.
Yeah, galactic right.
Galactic, right? Can you send a ship there for some reason?
We sent a comms boy through our portal to Ziban, and it came back with their portal on. They say, they've been having some unusual readings. They haven't said anything. They haven't reported any missing transits or anything.
I mean,
Interesting.
we could send one. Like slightly anonymously as the survivors of the portal disaster. We
It's not
still
really
have...
anonymously anymore. As soon as we say survivors of the portal disaster,
That's you
there's a grand
folks.
total of us.
Yeah.
Right, okay. We had. Did you remember we picked up the data, didn't we, from the portal?
Uh-huh.
So we could just send them the data, like the video and the data. So if it is matching the same patterns or fluctuations or whatever, then at least they know and they're warned.
I mean, he's like, well, I've got a bit of the data. The comms boy came back.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
Let's yeah.
Wait here. And again, he does that awkward shuffle of through one way and out the other, and that kind of thing.
I'll ask Adia to send what we have then.
Yeah, Adia's like, yeah, no problem, boss.
And a bottle of whiskey if we've got one.
Yeah, I'll go and take something out of Jafar's room. He's got all kinds of
take half of it.
things in there. Can we give them a hat as well?
No,
yeah.
no.
I said a hat, not the hat.
No, not Jafar's hats.
Oh.
You could take his booze, but if you touch his hats, it'll upset him.
You can take his life, but you can never take his hats.
Hat them.
Right.
But yeah, if we can match the fluctuations up, then at least we can warn, because it seems shitty to still say to just leave people to get blown up by. This is pretty bad, actually. There's more than one portal going to start exploding. That kind of, yeah.
Runs the risk of a cascade problem throughout all of the portal network, which would be a problem for everybody.
Oh, yeah, the planets and systems would be isolated again, wouldn't they? So, better pick where we want to live quite soon.
Okay.
Not the pariah planet.
Not
No,
Zalos.
no.
Yeah.
Not Zalos.
Not Zalos.
I mean, in fairness, we're probably safer around Coriolis and Kua, but when did we ever do safe?
Sometimes we sleep in stasis pods. Mind you, that's usually going into an explosion, so forget it. I'll take that back as well.
So Ged goes off to get this, like, the stuff from the comms boy. While they're there, one of these like 20-something comes along and is like, "Can you sign this for my mum?" The Shanaz kind of thing.
Yeah.
And disappears off.
Do a selfie with them.
Yeah, they're all like, "Oh, it's okay. No, my mum really liked you on that kind of."
Yeah, I'm sure she did, but she'll love a picture of you with me even more because you're in it.
And they do like really uncomfortable, like, and Shanaz looking fabulous, and him just like, kind of thing. And then they go off to do, like, I think Ged would probably come back and be like, "Told you need to go and finish cleaning that thing," and they're like, leave. And he's got a tabula. It's got a bunch of data and stuff in it. That those sort of graphics with big spiky jumps kind of thing. And he sits down and he's like, these are the readings from the portal. This is like it from 2 cycles ago. This is it from 1 cycle ago. And this is it from the start of this Cyclade. Which were, I think, let me check, we're about halfway through the year, I think.
Okay, I will share the readings I have to see whether they're the same.
Yeah. Do you want to share them, or are you just going to like look over them and be like...
I don't think we would understand them. I don't think I would anyway. Like
It's true. This is literally his job. He can read our data better than we can read his.
And he's already gave us so much shit that not trusting him is a bit... Well, the horse has already left that stable a long time ago.
Okay.
And also, if he wants to kill us, then the portal jump's going to take us into the sun, so,
He just gives you, just adds a 3 onto something.
Yeah.
Just adds a 3 on. All right, so he sits there and he's like scrolling through things. He gets like essentially a calculator out and a bit of something, another little tabula to make some quick notes on, kind of thing. And he's going through one. So he's, it's that full sort of data gin style thing going on. as he sits there and goes over stuff, and he's like, "You're welcome to stay, but it's going to take me a little while to compare. There's a lot of like I don't want to be. It looks similar, but I don't want to tell you it's the same without checking the numbers because these graphs could have different scales and he goes in like he's maths nerding. So
No, I just thought we were coming here for a quick layover. It was something like, oh shit, the universe is going to blow up, and we can tell the timer.
But yeah, he sits there and he's like, "You're welcome to stay. I'm going to get some coffee, and do some maths, or if you want to go back to your ship, or there's not much to see on the station."
Believe I'll return to the ship.
Hmm.
Gentlemen, it's up to you if you wish to stay or not.
Can I ask him? So are you in a union?
No, we haven't. I mean, some of the portals, like we've talked to Sadal and we talked to Iwa and other portals, and then different rotations. We should try and talk to each other, but we haven't kind of got together to make it.
Because there's a movement happening on Coriolis, something big and important.
And he's like, flicking between different numbers and that kind of stuff, and he like.
Maybe let him do the math, and then we'll do the union.
Yeah, please let him do his
sure.
sums, and then you can radicalize him later. But yes, you should start a union because collective bargaining is collective power.
He's like, well, we just haven't had enough funds to sort of. We're just one station, right? We can't get on the Council of Thousands.
But all the stations could together.
I mean, he's like,
you have a great deal of power. You just need to apply it in the right place.
I mean, I could just tell them to build a colonial agency in my name.
Yuns probably wouldn't.
In my name.
He's not here though.
Nobody. He's got his two
not
guys.
a problem for now.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, please don't radicalize everybody we meet.
That's good though.
Yes. But please let the nice man do his calculations.
So Ged is going to do
I'm not stopping him doing his maths.
No, he's like half talking to Yusuf, half concentrating on this kind of stuff. And he's like...
Well, I'm going to take these boys and go back to the ship then.
Yeah, they get up, like they're bodyguarding Shanaz. She's the VIP. So like as Shanaz rises, one of them moves to kind of cover the stair. That they start doing like military protection detail stuff rather than intimidate portal staff, and very carefully lead you down the stairs, down the ladder, back to your ship, where Adia is in the kind of airlock, with a bottle of very nice Menkar brandy, I guess.
Oh.
I found
CC9, a good year.
I found it in a box with a bunch of other little weird things.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
There was some family photos, a model of a ship. I don't know.
Oh, that's adorable.
And then they hand it over. You want me to take it to Yusuf? Like,
I don't mind going back over. What do you want to do, Yusuf?
I thought Yusuf was still there talking to Gerd.
Oh no, I'll head on over to the.
You can check out the stores and see what they've got
on this station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You head over to the stores. There are lots of.
I'm gonna take my Com4 unit. Oh.
Okay. Sure.
Well, I've never used it, and I might trade it.
Oh, okay. Like the stores is basically a big room full of ready meals and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like this route does not get people stopping here.
Okay, yeah, that's
This is
fine.
not a trading portal.
I was
it's
hoping
not
for like reloads and weapons and things like that.
No, like this portal station, people don't stop. And you gather, like Silsilla would know, like there are some portal routes where the only person who wakes up would be the pilot to check in with the portal station to move on. And these guys just make, you know, a lot of money being, okay, we've received your this is your new
Bored
update.
to death.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll give him the booze. Wait for Gert, was it?
Ged. EED.
To wait for Jed.
But don't tell anybody because it's a secret. And if you know his name, then you've got power over him.
Probably.
He
does have some secrets.
To finish his
comparative.
Jump?
Yeah, he's not doing the portal jump. He's tasked it to one of the other people to do the portal calculations.
Sorry, I mean the data is.
Yeah, he's comparing the, where was it? Uharan? Yeah, Uharu.
Yes.
The Uharu jump that collapsed and went bad. The data you took from that with the stuff he's got from Zabari. And then he's tasked the other guys to do a bunch of portal jumps for you, like calculations, whether like if you run these jump numbers without giving time to correct and check in and see what's going on, there is a very real chance that you could things could go awry. But I guess they'd cut down your actual maths time for the sort of template, if you will.
No, that's fine. Those are emergency use. Comes to it, you know, missiles are on the way. We're doing those things.
Yeah, like they warn you, like if you take on a big cargo, if you have a lot of folks in this, if you change the output of your and you know they haven't finished it, but when they hand it over, they'll give you a lot of like provisos and that sort of thing. You're in a caravan, this won't work at all. Don't do this in a caravan. This is solo jump sort of.
We should have asked him to do the calculations for the Arai to Zib jump.
Yeah.
That's the not actually a route. That's us skipping past Zalos altogether to get to Mira by going through that big chunk of dead space.
If we come back this way.
Yeah, that's true.
That might take him a bit longer, you would have thought as well.
Maybe. So yeah, and it does take a while. Like you get a bunch of the theoretical jump calculations from these kids. They're 20 odds. From these fellas. Before you get Ged's comparison. And again, he doesn't want to do it over, like, he says, can I come to you or are you coming to me? I don't really want to have, I think, you know, I don't think it's wise to talk about this. So do you let him on your ship or do you come off to the station again?
Yeah, he could come over to us.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, he comes over and he's got like an armful of like tabulas, maybe a couple of printouts, like actual paper things, and like a couple of sort of, I guess they must be like training kind of, like a pretend sun with like two sticks sticking out of it for the portals on it kind of thing and that kind of stuff. And he's like, okay, right. I don't know what your portal understanding is. Ours is, he's like, anyway, and like he clatters all these things all over, like
Pay money, go place.
Yeah, he clatters them all out over the table or the space you give him to sort of talk to you in. Yoons is sort of stood at the back, like at the corner of the door. The rest of his crew are back wherever in the cargo bay. Adia is there. They want to sort of listen in, but they're doing it in the way of like, I'm just making noodles and coffee. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just, you know, I don't care. But the rest of you sat around this table, and he's like, "So this data gave me, yeah, I can see why you're saying run away. That was a lot of energy that came through the portals. It's too much energy to come through the portals, which is why it looks like everything exploded. It looks just the right types of energy to collapse a portal. And he pulls up data, and he pulls up like sheets of stuff and that kind of stuff, and he puts one tabular out maybe in front of Yusuf, or maybe Silsilla, whoever it's actually probably Silsilla, like the person he feels like knows about portals the most. And it's this sort of wavy spike kind of thing, of energy kind of data. He's like, in a normal transit, you've got this, and this, and he points out different things, and he does like space science, and and then he points to another sheet of another tabular stuff, and it's almost like the same sort of graph, but in the places where there are peaks, the peaks are like double the size, kind of thing. And it's almost, he's like, it's almost like they knew the times to overload a portal jump that would make it too much for the technology to kind of buffer. Like they didn't wait for when it could handle this load. It's almost like the whatever was happening was timed to happen when it was already dealing with the maximum capacity of energy through the system.
That related to like a big convoy?
Well, yeah. I mean, when a caravan transits through the portals, there is a bigger output of energy, but that's why you have a longer sustained. And he pulls up like a similar sort of thing, and you can see it never gets. It's like it shows you how it manages for a longer caravan.
It went over the limit.
But at this precise times where it would be already at the limit. So, like it.
So, if you were to transit back and forth a few times through a portal, so you could measure the exact load capacity of the portal, would that be a way of identifying the right moment at which to use such a spike?
Well, it depends on the sun. Like you would have to do that transit a bunch of times because each of the portals derives energy from the local sun. You would have to take into account of
flares and stuff.
The energy of that. You would have to know exactly when the transits were going to happen. And he sits there and he's like, it's a very good weapon. It's not anything I would have, like, not that I'm trying to blow up portals, but it's a good take on if somebody wanted to make them.
So, $4,000.
How do we use it?
4,000 per question. Do you need someone on the portal station, or is this something outside?
No, like you don't. The portal stations don't trigger the portals are active.
Yeah.
We don't we help you with the maths and we put you on the right trajectory.
So would we have to like fire
velocity.
something into the sun or something? You're talking about?
I mean, yeah, firing something into the sun would be. There's also, we have no idea about portal space. Like there's limited research, but if there was a way to trigger the transit and or trigger this from portal space, you could trigger any of the things. Anyway, and you
could send a shockwave through the portal network.
You could certainly do something like. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you can't. You don't wake up in portal space. We'd have to program something to overload to do something in portal space.
You can stay awake in portal space. It's not recommended.
Well, no, you.
Oh man, it's probably just they just want you to sleep so you don't see what it's like, right?
No, it is much worse than that.
Don't forget, there may be things in portals.
And he sort of begins to push. So, but that's your data compared with and then we're looking at the ban. It's not as big, but it does look like somebody's. And he pulls over these other tabulas, and it's almost like somebody's trying to do the same, but less devastating.
So instead of destroying a system, they just want to switch off the portals, potentially.
Like, if this was...
So the creatures, someone in portal space is messing with the portals.
Maybe.
I think that's
Shutting them
speculation
down.
at that point.
Yeah.
We don't need to trouble the commander with that level of concern.
Ed was going to tell us what the effect was.
He says, if I
Oh
was...
yeah, what would happen?
He's like, well, looking at the data you've brought, and this stuff that the boy from Zaban has given us, this looks like the first try, and that looks like they're refining something.
Well, that's not bone chilling at all.
No, but that's our problem to deal with, and we need to be about it. So let's let the commander get back to his work and his crew.
Yeah.
And we'll take up the discussion about ramifications and political incidents as a result from there.
Yeah, because like Silsil was like, who do we tell? I want to tell that portal station. Seems wrong just to let them get blown up.
Yes, it is, but we don't know that they are going to. We also can't be responsible for creating a panic across the entire horizon.
I
But what if
mean,
we're sitting on important information that people might need?
Again, a discussion that we can have once the commander.
Oh, sorry. I thought we'd
returns
let him do
his
that, and
duties.
I thought we'd gone
Okay.
away from the
Yeah,
commander.
Okay.
so he'll be like,
Sorry.
he pulls out like a tabula from his jacket pocket, and he gives it to Shanaz, and he's like, you're famous, right? You are famous. This is pictures of me. This is my wife. This is our home. If we don't escape, if they do this to us, this is who we were. This is who we are. Can you make sure people know what they did? And he points back to the Uharan portal stuff. Like nobody, I don't know who was working. Like, and he puts his hand on yours. He's like, don't let them forget us.
You will not be forgotten.
Okay.
Never.
chance.
I'm gonna go and chat with the guys about that union stuff you were talking about, Yusuf.
Yes.
Those pamphlets you've left on our server.
Oh, you saw them? Great.
Yeah, those pamphlets you've left are interesting. Black hands, you say? Black hands. He kind of like, and he gives that like last look to Shanaz, like.
Don't tell them how much you get paid if you ever talk to them.
Like last look to Shanaz in a like, you know, please. I don't want our portal to explode, but also I don't want people to just brush it over with put all the explosives on the left side of the ship. That kind of. He's like, gonna go and just check the calculations for your jump again. We've got a diagnostic to run. He like winks at Silsilla.
I'll walk into the airlock and I'll be like, just even if you're retired, keep that ship hot.
Yeah, we're gonna call in one of the mercs. They're gonna stay docked. Yeah. Like, who would do that? He's like, is this gonna be another portal war?
I'm not sure I know, to be honest with you, but I think that whoever it is, we've managed to knock them out of their stride quite a few times, and we're just going to keep on doing that until we can find that weak spot and that exhaust port.
And he's like, you know, he's relieved that he's told you all this stuff, but also like, world just got big, and I was just on my little portal station with a bunch of guys doing maths and eating ramen. And he like shakes your hand, heads out. He's like, okay, well, I'll let you know. I'll give you, or you let me know when you're about to run, so I can make sure our diagnostics is not happening at the same time. It was good to meet you.
I'll give him a time now, like 90 minutes.
He's like, okay. And he's like,
I'll do a salute.
thank you for stopping by.
Seems like it was well worth it. Thank you for your help.
And he's like,
Indeed.
yeah, he like, the door shuts and he stood there for a minute, and he just like stands there awkwardly, and then is like around and sort of walks off.
All right, it's back to business time then, isn't it? So I guess we'll point the ship in the right direction. Tell everyone they've got roughly 70 minutes to get in their status pods. And then go and have a powwow somewhere private with Shinaz and Yusuf.
Okay. So you're telling Yoons and his guys that you're going to go in 60 minutes and then have half an hour to yourselves?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can pack up, everyone can get their sleep suits on or whatever you wear. We can
You're going to have to bring Yoons in at some point in a little bit more depth, because his boys have just heard something, and confidential information for close protection aside, it's too big for them to not share with their CO.
Yes, but I don't think Silsila would quite understand. Like, someone can blow up portals on purpose. Like, I mean, I would probably just tell Yoons that I like a lot of what we've just figured out is like super classified, and I will tell him what I can once we've rescued the ambassador and fulfilled his mission. If that satisfies him for now.
Okay. I mean, he's asleep right now, so you can plot all you want.
No, obviously before he goes to sleep, because like Shinaz is right. Like, these own people would talk to him. Even though they do seem to have accepted me as, well, my current lie. So
yeah.
But yeah, I like, Shinaz would also want to talk as well. I mean, who do we tell? Do we tell everyone? Do we tell the Colonial Agency? Do we tell...
We can't. I know. I want to tell everybody as well. I've got a media presence that will stretch across the third horizon. I could go on screen tomorrow and tell billions of people the truth. And every single day, I'm wrestling with the decision about whether or not I should tell billions of people the truth.
Not necessarily people in general, but I mean, we could probably get hold of the general who told me I was Zenithian. We could maybe get hold of the pariah we spoke to last time. Just select people and say, look, this is going on. I mean, if it's none of the Horizon factions and it's an outside faction, maybe it'll even make the pariahs go back to their world.
It doesn't make sense for it to be a Horizon faction.
I don't think
anybody who had technology this far advanced of everybody else would already be lauding it. Either it's a very tiny, tiny faction that doesn't have the manpower to sustain this level of open conflict, or it's another faction that isn't from within. And outside. What better way for an outside power to operate than to set inside powers against one another, to have them at each other's necks. And even with our evidence, we relied on the power of personality, on the force of our belief, on our conviction, on the data that we do have. But who are we really? You are a freighter pilot, an ex-slave, and a prostitute. Our opinions can be invalidated by people in power within minutes. They control enough. It doesn't matter whether you don't need them to believe in you or not. Those billions of people across the horizon need to know that you are genuine. And as soon as you speak out, your truthfulness, your veracity will be called into question by powers you cannot contend against.
I
You're not
wasn't
wrong.
going to say it publicly.
That doesn't
though.
mean we shouldn't try, right? We
Yeah,
should figure
I
out a
agree
way.
with Cecilla agrees with that. But I'm talking about find someone halfway important in a faction, tell them the story, give them the data.
And that's what we're
It's
doing.
the butterflies, right?
Yes, that's what we're doing. We go, we get this ambassador. If we can get him on side, we stand more of a chance because he's a member of the Coriolis Council and he will listen. We have data to support our argument. I will present a convincing case.
Yeah, I mean, if you understand the data, then that tells the story itself. And even if we give it to people and they don't believe us, when the second one goes off, they probably will. That
I mean,
point.
how many portals are suffering this? You know, we should.
Yeah, that's the other
We
thing.
need to find that out, right? Because it sounds like these butterflies, like, don't want us using the portals.
Well, of course not, because if they can destabilize the horizon by deactivating the portals that link us,
Yeah,
then
but they don't-
individually each planet is weak.
I don't know. It sounds like someone telling you to leave them alone. They're not attacking. They're not like attacking space stations or planets or factions or anything. We're doing all that shit ourselves. We're all fighting over all the crap and all the shit, like we always do. You know,
Which was why we were going to Mirror in the first place,
No,
to see if this
absolutely.
is being run
But I don't
through
think it's
some kind of
related.
psyop.
I think the factions are all falling apart because they can't handle what's going on.
The factions are falling apart because they won't work with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're all idiots.
We have the icons as well. I mean, the icons were involved in this fight as well. So
the emissaries.
Oh yes, the emissaries. Yes. So if the emissaries are in, then 100% we're in. Okay, then.
Well,
let's go and get
this
this
ambassador. Talk to an
ambassador.
emissary as well. That's where we're going, isn't it? We talk to the ambassador, which takes us to the council level. Then we talk to the emissaries.
What Silsila said is ringing in my brain. You said there are things in portal space. So these butterflies live in portal space.
I think
we
so.
don't know that. We're making
we don't know that. But they don't see them anywhere else. We see them around the gates and near
we know
things,
they're using it, and we know that they seem to have a greater control over it than we do. But we cannot say for certain.
And now we're all mucky fingers. We're crawling through portal space all the time, schlepping around, fucking around with their portals, all having big wars and shit and blowing shit up. And they're like, you people are grubby and dirty. We don't have anything to do with you. We're going to shut down the portals.
I mean, I don't think we can give them motives either. So I like the fact that
exactly.
we're all just
You're attributing too much to what they're doing.
I'm just trying to put some of these weird bits together. That's
agreed.
Well, when we use this portal, let's leave the outside cameras on and scanning.
I mean, there's footage of portal space and stuff.
No, I want to see if there's any of the butterflies here.
Oh, you want to see if anything comes through the portal transit with you?
You know, one of us could try and stay awake.
Man, I'll stay awake if you want.
No, I don't think that's worth it. What would we get from that?
So silly, you can't stay awake because we're going to need you to pilot the ship on the other side, regardless of what happens.
And you need Shanaz's pull with important people. Like, I'm the least.
Yeah, but you're not, because you have the Mystics condition.
Yeah, but that might mean I'm okay in portal space.
Or it might make you extra vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, what happens to people when they stay awake in portal space? They go mad.
I mean, there was a whole bunch of the Samaritans dedicated to people who had stayed or had unfortunate awaking accidents in portal space. Maybe the pariah might know what's something. Maybe they have some information about portal space.
Oh, fuck it. Let's go and ask them next. Let's get this ambassador and then we'll jump back in and say, we have interesting news about portal space.
Maybe the ambassador's had a weird experience as well. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll trade the info for safe passage and they might say no, in which case we just push
They're going to say no. The pariah are not going to listen to us after the shit we've just pulled.
And I just don't want to end up in some arse. Like, we're not going to Algol, all right? If I end up getting stuck at Algol and the portal goes, I will go mad, right?
Okay, we'll just avoid Algol. It's fine. You know what? If it comes to it, we'll blind jump. But right, why don't we jump in the pods? set this up. Off we go. Let's go get an ambassador because I feel like I need to do something real and stop talking
Sure.
about theory and
Yeah,
make myself
agreed.
feel
Theory is a wonderful idea, but we will build motives that don't necessarily exist, attribute intention that may not be had.
Yeah, and we only have our own viewpoints as well.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we've had our like 20, 25 minutes worth of chat,
Arguing.
arguing, chat,
Are
making
we still
sure.
live? There's like a weird
Debate.
ding noise.
Oh, that was Adobe saying it's taking a moment to read the PDF. That
All
I
right,
was just
okay,
looking
that's
at.
fine. 'Cause I
Don't
was
worry
like,
about
oh,
that.
Does that mean is that the hang-up noise?
That was just Adobe telling me. I
Cool.
did not.
All
mean
right
to.
then. Let's go then.
Okay, so we have our 25 minutes of chat. Again, like Kirsch is being sketchy about which stasis bays to use, and has one of them is particularly smelly from a scent marking kind of situation. You set the coordinates that the Ged and his crew have given you, and we make the jump, the portal jump.
Can I pretend to go to sleep?
You don't want to go to sleep?
Naughty, Yusuf, naughty.
You bastard! You beat me to it.
I'm gonna get in my pod, but I'm
You're
not gonna
both gonna wake
activate it.
up. Fine. All right. do it, do
Shanaz,
it.
are you gonna stay awake?
I mean,
I kind of was, yeah, because. But
Cool.
we can't, there's no point
We'll
in us
both step
doing
out and
it.
be like,
No, you should both do it.
ah.
You're both going to do it independently.
Yeah, why not?
You can wake up and do Spider-Man meme with each other.
Okay. All right.
And then
so-
we'll wake Silsilla up just for fun.
Look, we're all going nut jobs. Thought you'd like to join in. High fives all around before we think we're spoons.
You thought we think we're spoons. We've all become bits of cutlery.
Wobble.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, if only that was it.
So it's less of a rush for Silsilla as it was last time. Like you standard sort of autopilot plugged in, navigation data plugged in. I still need a piloting roll.
Okay.
I'm going to give you -1 from a cursed ship.
Yep.
But then you've got +2 from the data already and a chapel on board.
So that is basically 8 from myself,
Mhm.
+2 -1 to be 9.
Mhm.
Okay. One, two, oh, 4. I got 4.
Okay, good.
So that he has actually arrived at pilot. Though I'm showing him.
Yeah, it's all right.
Ah.
You don't have to like prove it to me. It's okay. You set the stuff. You put in like the right details. You set up like a lot more scans and data. Not so silent running, so to speak. Set it all to collect as much as possible. You get like move the cameras, so not only are you like back and front, like everything is gonna be downloaded. There's going to be a lot of footage, a lot of data to scrub through once you leave portal
I
space.
presume I can ask the computer to look for ships and provide the pictures or the partial snaps from the tabula. They match this basically.
Yeah, so you want to give it like a look for butterfly ships.
Basically, yeah.
Your ship doesn't have a GIN. It doesn't have an AI, so it's not going to do. But you can set it up to flag for like specific like events, like if it sees something of this that kind of stuff. So it's not going to be, you might pull up debris or whatever else is floating around in portal space, you might pull up a bunch of useless things, but it'll put markers in throughout the system to kind of give you something to look at. You program the stuff, you take a casual saunter back to cryo, back to your stasis pods. Yusuf and Shanaz peacefully sleeping. Like, yeah. You climb in, it runs a cycle, puts the heads up like, go, no go sort of thing. You click the yes. puts you to sleep, and it begins its transit. So Yusuf, Shanaz, have they programmed it to wake up? Like, is the trigger?
I don't want to be awake while it goes through the portal.
You want to wake up in portal space?
I want to wake up in portal space, I think.
Okay.
I'm not that clever.
So Yusuf has programmed something that is like run the wake up cycle for me an hour into transit.
Yeah. How long does it take?
I think it takes a couple of days. It's not just
Okay.
like snappy.
Yeah. So like an hour in or something.
Okay, whereas I just wouldn't have closed the stasis thing properly, but would have really faked being asleep successfully.
Okay. So Shanaz is like the
you
HUD.
just spray painted the inside white.
She's one of those
like
kind of
across.
weird snoring sleepers, like.
Like the HUD is.
You're kidding?
is,
She's
like,
trained in how to sleep beautifully.
comes right after the walking upstairs in ball gowns, walking up ladders in ball gowns lessons. So Shanaz has like dismissed all the incomplete stasis cycle. Remove cryo obstruction and start again. Like she's just sabotaged some part of her own thing.
Cancel.
You're a cryo.
Yeah, just some sort of just something in the latch. Like she just
The
drops
hem of your skirt in the latch.
thing in the latch to prevent a proper seal kind of thing, and dismissed all the stuff and set it. So Shanaz, you hear Silsila's pod run. You give it 5 minutes or so, to a minute or two. Pop the lid, bare feet down. Where do you go? Do you go and sit on the bridge?
Yeah.
Go and sit in the big chair?
Sit in the big chair, look out the window.
Pray
like nobody's business.
Oh, you could go to the chapel.
Has the chapel got windows?
I don't know, folks. Does the chapel have windows? I imagine it would have the
one to
windows.
look out into space, kind of.
In which case I will be in the chapel and praying my arse off rather than in the captain's chair.
Okay. So Shanaz begins like prayer. The transit, it must be uncomfortably bright, kind of, as you essentially
Discombobulating.
fly towards a sun. So like much closer than most sort of things advise. Obviously, ships are built for this, but it's very bright. It's huge. Like the stars are eclipsed by a sun, essentially. And then I don't know, goes, and then suddenly there is a complete absence of stars and light, and not even like the sort of hum of. It's almost like portal space consumes all. Darkness between the stars. Goes for a while. And then Morgan Freeman voiceover is but Shanaz was not alone between the stars. That kind of thing. As Yusuf's beep, 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 shh. Get up.
I have a little recording device and I'll be recording everything that I see just in case I do end up exploding or going mad, so that when they find my disfigured remains at the end of the journey, they can at least listen to what we spotted in portal space.
Where does Yusuf go? Because it's entirely possible.
Our pods are in the same room, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I would see that Shanaz is not in her pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay.
I mean, your pod. I imagine your pod, as you open it up, is warning portal transit in progress.
Yeah.
Press here to reinitiate the.
I'll just
cryo.
get out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shanaz's pod is empty.
I'm going to go to the bridge because that would be the place that I'd think that someone would be.
Okay. So you run up to the
look
bridge.
Out the front window.
You can just see data streams. The ship is collecting so much information. And there's a moment where perhaps you think the shutters, the blast doors are closed over the windows, but you then confirm it's not. It's just absolute blackness outside.
Okay.
No markers, nothing.
I'm gonna press my forehead against the window,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna try and think out into the darkness to see if there's any minds out there.
Okay. This is a
So
development.
I'm
All right.
gonna like,
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm gonna do a long wee on the bridge. We're gonna do like a roving mind walk, like when I'm reaching out for a mind that I'm looking for, but it probably just loop back to my own mind and nothing will happen.
Okay,
I
so
imagine Millie
You know,
had a
unless it
list of
gets ripped out and
shit we
dumped
might
behind
do,
us.
but try and mentally connect with the void probably wasn't on that list.
so
I wouldn't mind, but he's even read Warhammer 40k.
So imagine, right? Remember we did the GM's fireside chat, and I was chatting with like Rickard and folks who did that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine him now watching this, going, "Never accounted for that in my story." And as Yusuf presses his head and against,
So I can feel the cold of the glass,
Yeah.
or whatever it, transparent aluminium.
yeah, or computer. Sorry. As Yusuf does that, I think we're going to end because it's time, and also I have to do a little bit of reading. I was laughing in Discord, like if you, I guess it's a good sort of moment. Come and join us on the Discord for many things, including the post earlier today where I went, those Coriolis prep streams I used to do, they were fun.
Yeah.
I should do more of them.
I honestly thought we'd be picking up a diplomat from wherever the fuck a diplomat is. But no, we're like, yeah.
But yeah, that's all we've got time for. I need to do some reading, so there will be at some point, I don't know, this week, next week, a daytime stream where I work out and read the things. So
It's on page 338.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
sorry, 337 of the main rule book.
Yeah.
Whether you do it or not, spend them or not. Next time we start, that 11 should say like 2 or
Two.
something like that. And then you just like, whoops, sorry.
Oops.
Take it
And
down
I come
further.
back and I'm like, ah.
Like Zaphod with 2 heads. But yeah, come and join us in the Discord. I think we were chatting about playing real life games today, and how many folks different games and that kind of stuff. There is a vote because later on this week on Glarbag, we're going to be playing a different game than normal, and you can decide which character I'm playing.
I think we're going to have a vote for Simon and Dan as well.
Oh wow, cool.
Yes.
There is a vote for the patrons over in the patron section of Discord, which gives a good sort of seg to say, come and join a Patreon. It's cool, it's fun. If you don't fancy joining the Patreon but still want cool and fun stuff, there's lots of that on the Patreon too, including the details of this very ship that we are now awake in portal space on. You can see the Kudat Patilla and such. If you missed previous shenanigans, and you want to know what's happening in other games, you could come and join us on YouTube because they are all uploaded at the weekend, including some Dungeons and Dragons. I can't remember. Oh, we're doing more in the West Marches this weekend. We will be doing more exploring of the place where the light was, for those that are into that, and a little bit more exploring of a dungeon.
Ooh.
Yeah, a dungeon that we may or may not be the appropriate level for. West Marches, y'all.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming up this weekend, along with tomorrow, crossbows and shillings and crossbows.
Shillings and crossbones.
Crossbones. Oh,
Yeah.
Because they're shit. It's naval. It's nautical.
yes. So that's
So maybe piratical.
Wednesday. WFRP is back.
Yes.
I was talking with Roger about his
What about his ogre?
ogre, and
Yeah.
he's gonna.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Got an ogre pirate sailor, and we're
Yep.
maybe the feather is perhaps just a seagull that nobody can see that is nailed to his hat because he's that kind of stuff.
Yes.
He's very tall. Yeah.
It's very tall, nobody can see it, especially if you're a halfling. So that's tomorrow night. WFRP, piratical fun. But the character we were just talking about, Pete, on Thursday.
Yes,
I'm
we're
not
taking
gonna
a
be Ellie.
taking a little break
Yep.
from Fractured Empire. Just a short break. It was a good place to break as well because you've just gone to hyperspace.
Mhm.
And we're going to do 2 weeks of Shadow Dark RPG, which is currently on Kickstarter. We're not associated to them in any way, but it looks like a fun mashup of OSR and 5e. So it's kind of lightweight 5e with some OSR, random tables and dungeoneering. And we may use some dungeons that I've drawn to explore some of those.
Nice.
And yeah, we need to do a bit of a patron vote on who's going to play the Goblin Wizard.
Goblin Wizard. Oh, no, I want to be the priest.
Yeah, you're a priest. It looks like you're going to be half orc because we've had I think we had a few people vote.
Yeah. Half orc priest. Nice.
Oh no, dwarf.
Dwarf priest.
Yep.
Excellent. Like dwarves.
I've said you have until Coriolis ends tonight.
Just now.
And dwarf was one.
All right. So head over and maybe you could join in to find out who's going to be the Goblin Wizard. Sounds chaos. Simon.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, let's hope so.
Do they have Trade Farmer?
Of course.
Actually.
Fungus Farmer.
Fungus Farmer. So that is Thursday European time, and then stay up late, get up early, whichever you prefer. Have a nap in between the two streams. Stick around for Achtung Cthulhu with Matt and the North America crew.
Yes.
Then I've already mentioned all the things at the weekend. It's been a week, y'all, and it's only Tuesday.
Right?
Yeah.
Every day has been a week for quite a while now.
It has. So
Gregorian or Julian times.
it definitely. But thank you so much for doing weird things in space that I never thought you were gonna. Join us next week for more Coriolis. Thank you very much, folks. Good night.